Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the grand finale of Robot Rumble 2022. We have 5 machines who have already gained their place to the quarterfinals. The bracket can be seen right now on your screen. But we have 3 spots left to fill, and there are 5 robots eager to fill them. Yes, that's right. It's time for the runner-up rumble. Let carnage commence. It's time for the most chaotic fight in the Robot Rumble season calendar. It's time for the runner-up rumble. 5 machines go in, only 3 will qualify for the knockout rounds. But remember, as we did last year, all the robots will fight until only 1 remains, as that dictates the seeding for the knockout round. Let's quickly go over the machines who are in this runner-up rumble. So from Group A, we have the Alien, went through the tie-break rumble, the first of its kind ever. They went through at the expense of Bite Force, the defending champions. Wasn't that a crazy moment in Robot Rumble history? From Group B, we've got Bronco, the 2020 champion. They flipped their way through the heat, but were not quite as good as Behemoth, who qualified in first place. So they'll have to be going through this runner-up rumble here today. I think they've got a pretty good chance. From Group C, we have the Kettering Kicker, a surprise newcomer who did very well on their way to a runner-up spot. Can they find a way through to the knockout round in what would be a fairy tale maiden campaign? From Group D, we have Brenda. Again, they finished 4th last year, lost to Bronco, of course, in this rumble. They'll be looking to get that 360-degree spinner into action. I think they've got a pretty good chance of doing well here, because remember, they've got 360 degrees of attack and defense. And finally, from Group E, we have Witch Doctor. They found themselves in the runner-up rumble here today, after they progressed from the group last week, which was a humdinger of a group. Arguably, the robots in that group were tougher in many respects than the robots we have in this runner-up rumble here today. So maybe Witch Doctor could go far. But let's find out. Let's get this rumble off and underway. So here we go, everyone. This is going to be carnage, and already they all come forward into a big huddle. And Witch Doctor's been flipped over immediately here by Bronco and Witch Doctor. They have got a Shreemech on the back, but it doesn't appear to be working on that spine. They've gone over, and I don't think Witch Doctor can recover here. I think Witch Doctor are out, and Bronco has claimed a victim here, as they now separate into 2 little groups here. Kettering Kicker almost pushing the Alien into the pit. This is carnage. This is confirmation that we have now lost Witch Doctor. They've been counted out. Oh, the Alien very close to the pit. Got to watch out, guys. Skirting around one of the oldest competitors in Robot Rumble. They've been in every season, as have Witch Doctor, but they're already out. The Alien never beyond the first round, so this is an improvement for them, as Bronco finds itself on top of Brenda, who've not got that spinning blade up to speed yet so far in this runner-up rumble. It's not causing the damage that they would like, as Kettering Kicker here is flipped over by Bronco. Another victim, because Kettering Kicker, again, hasn't got a Shreemech. And look at that, they were pushing, they were using that flicker, and the flicker just gave the angle of attack for Bronco, who got underneath and threw them over. That's 2 knockouts for Bronco in this runner-up rumble. 2 robots turned turtle here today. Now the Alien coming to grips with Bronco, who flips them again, and it's another robot overturned. You'd think all of these robots would have designed a Shreemech, but they haven't. And the Alien ran in, and over they went, and they're out. But they were one of the top 3, so they'll be through to the knockout round despite going out. Just means they'll have a harder competitor in the knockout round. Now, these 2 will fight it out for the top spot and the easiest tie in the knockout round, as Brenda shoves the former champion towards the wall. These 2 fought last year in the 3rd place playoff, and they're at it again here. Brenda using those tank tracks to its advantage, pushing Bronco into the corner. trapping them in there. Bronco trying to fight back. Struggling though. Now Brenda nudging the alien away, making the fighting zone a bit wider. Now is Brenda down to one track here? They seem to have a track jammed up. Hasn't stopped them from defending from that slam from Bronco though. Bronco in again. They can just edge the one-tracked Brenda towards the pit. Oh no, they seem to be okay. Oh, that's a big flip. And now Brenda is doing a do-si-do on its head. What an attack that was. Straight underneath and bang underneath. And over went Brenda. And it means that once the countdown comes in, which it is now, despite Brenda spinning around, it's not controlled movement. But it does mean that Bronco wins the runner-up rumble by knockout. The first time that's ever happened in Robot Rumble history. So let's go through Bronco's run to the win here. First went Witch Doctor. They are out, eliminated. Then went the Kettering Kicker. They are also out, going home, eliminated. Next was the Alien. The panel pulled off, and then the Alien sent into orbit. They are still through, though, because they finished third in the Rumble. And then Brenda flipped over and doing a head spin, a head dance. But they are through, and as confirmed by this results table, it's Bronco who win the Rumble. Brenda in second, the Alien in third. We say goodbye to the Kettering Kicker and Witch Doctor for this season. Well fought, guys, well fought. And that means the bracket looks like this. The completed bracket is Pain and Panic against the Alien. We'll see them in just a minute. It's Duck against Deator, Sawblaze against Brenda, and Behemoth against Bronco in a repeat from Group B. But obviously we're going to go first to Pain and Panic against the Alien.
Roboteers, stand by.
So it's the first of our quarterfinal fights, and it sees Pain and Panic against the Alien in a repeat from Group A. Let's quickly look at their stats boards. Pain and Panic, of course, won the tiebreaker battle at the end of Group A. So they got the direct bye into the quarterfinals here. Whereas the Alien, of course, went through that as well, as we just said. But they had to go through the run-up rumble, which we've just watched. How much battle damage will the Alien have sustained? And will that affect their ability to come to grips with Pain and Panic? There's only one way to find out. Let battle commence.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we go. And Panic hasn't moved here. Pain has started on its run across the arena. The blue one is Pain. The sort of dark one is Panic. But at the moment, oh, very close to the pit went one of them. But it's Panic who hasn't moved. And that means that the Alien only has to knock out this other half. Now with a cluster bot, the rules are very important. You have to knock out both sections of the cluster bot. I think it's safe to say that Pain is immobilized, which means the Alien only has to beat this tiny little cluster bot, who it is heavier than. It has got the better pushing power, and it's got the better weaponry than. So it's looking very good for the Alien, who's not showing any ailments from the Rumble. And they'll aim to shove Pain down the pit, pushing them into the wall here, trying to get that vertical spinner, the Drisk spinner up to speed. And actually, I think they've lost a bit of damage there. In there, attacking the dead body of Panic, and has lost the side panel. And that's the first time I've ever seen an immobilized robot do damage to another robot. Now, the Alien skirting near that pit. In comes Pain. Trying to get to grips, but they just haven't got the pushing power, the weight. The problem with... Oh, no! Oh, no! The Alien, surely they were going to win that. And they've just dove into the pit.
Cease.
And Pain and Panic are in to the semi-finals in sensational fashion. The Alien had this one. It had this one in the bags. It's just driven into the pit. Well, the alien goes back to whatever planet it came from in disgrace. Pain and Panic through to the semi-finals despite the fact that Panic didn't even move. Next up, it's Duck against Deator.
Roboteers, stand by.
So this is the only quarter-final fight that features two group winners going head-to-head. Deator, the winner of Group C, they beat some famous machines such as Royal Pain 2 to get here with an impressive 100% winning record. Duck, in the meanwhile, went through Group D, probably a slightly tougher group that had the likes of Brenda and Impulse, the runner-up from the pilot. They navigated them all, finishing top with 7 points. Who will come out here on top today? I think it's going to be a very, very tight match, and I can't wait for this to get off and underway.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we go. Irish Eyes against the Duck from America here today in this quarter-final matchup. And Duck are immediately trying to get a shove and a push. Deator with that vertical spinner, not always the most reliable vertical spinner on the planet, but they have got pushing power if that fails them with a very meaty wedge that they've not bothered to attach the side panels on this year, as Duck gets round the back and is trying to lift Deator up and over. If they did so, Deator's not got a Shremek, so would struggle to react. And that really is what Duck is going to be aiming for as they back away across the arena, retreat away from that vertical spinner, and almost got the Irish machine down the pit. And oh no, Duck has just, they're a bit, and Deator's finished them off. Duck had speared themselves into the side of the pit there, and Duck are trying.
Cease.
They're trying to get out. Let's look what happened there. They almost got Deator into the pit, but Deator navigated away. Duck retreated, looking for a slam, and just one of the wheels lost traction on the arena floor and has sent them spinning into the pit. They might have been able to lift themselves out, but Deator shoved them in, and Duck is trying to get out. It's not going to happen, boys. I'm sorry. So there you have it. Deator through to the semi-final. The first time it's ever gotten to that stage in Robot Rumble. Duck will lick its wounds and come back next year, hopefully, because we do love seeing that totally quackers machine in the Rumble zone. Next up, we have Behemoth against Bronco, but I'm being told that Behemoth has suffered irreparable damage to its flipper mechanism. We seem to remember in the heat it kept springing open, and apparently the pin has sheared, which means that we're going to have to find a replacement to fight Bronco. And to do that, we've looked at the runner-up Rumble, and the robot that finished 4th place, which was the Kettering Kicker, who will come in as a substitute. It's going to be Bronco against Kettering Kicker. What a turn up for the books.
Roboteers, stand by.
Well, this was not the fight we were expecting in the quarterfinals. Two runners-up against each other, which should never happen, but Behemoth have had to pull out. So we found the Kettering Kicker as the replacement, as the 4th placed runner-up Rumble finisher. They navigated Group C and looked very good, to be honest, for a newcomer with that inventive little flicker. And they're up against Bronco, the 2020 champions, one of the most successful robots in the Robot Rumble history. They beat every single machine in that runner-up Rumble by flipping them over. And I think the odds are stacked against Kettering Kicker here. But stranger things have happened, so let's get this quarterfinal off and underway.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So what has the Kettering Kicker learned from its runner-up Rumble fight against Bronco? Of course, they had 3 other machines in there, but right now they're getting round the side of Bronco. Bronco escaping. They don't look the most controlled right now, Bronco, but Bronco okay. They're ramming back with that wedge on the back, but they're really struggling here, Bronco. They're getting manhandled by the Kettering Kicker. Referee, they'll be asking for some investigations as bits and pieces have flown off everywhere, and then the Kettering Kicker's ended up upside down. Well, let's evaluate this. First, the slam. There went one panel. then shoved them round. There went another panel, there went another panel, and then Kettering Kicker's just driven off the flipper and ended up upside down. Well, it's more by fortune than by skill, but Bronco are probably going to win this headstand from the Kettering Kicker. But I think that is the end for Kettering Kicker. And it wasn't Bronco that beat them, it was the floor flipper. Well, there you go. The Kettering Kicker eliminated. And Bronco looks like it's going to go for its party trick and try and throw the Kettering Kicker out of the arena. It's done it on several occasions before as Bronco. Yet to do one this season. Kettering Kicker stuck in the corner, and Bronco has left them to it. Well, there you go. It's the Kettering Kicker going home. Bronco getting a fortuitous ride to the semi-finals, but a ride to the semi-finals nonetheless. They've got to be one of the favourites now with these final four. Next up, it's Soulblaze against Brenda.
Roboteers, stand by.
So it's a battle of the deadly weaponry here in our final quarter-final. First up, Brenda. They finished runner-up in that runner-up rumble. Ended up doing a head spin, which was very impressive. But they've got that 360 degrees of attack and defense. I'll always talk about it. But the one thing I don't mention about is those tracks. They can push anyone around the arena. And then there's also Soulblaze in this fight. The winner of Group E, which was last week's heat. They looked mightily impressive once they got going. Did have a little bit of drive issues, but that combination of that wedge coupled with that spinning blade could be crucial here today. But they are against Brenda, who are not to be sniffed at. Came fourth last year. Let's find out how they do. Let's let this battle commence.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So Brenda was spinning up early there. Not that Soulblaze minds. They're straight in and ripping a panel off there. And I think also a track has gone straight away here. So Soulblaze causing almost terminal damage. And they're smothering Brenda here. The robot from Brentwood. Brenda, the blender. And Soulblaze attacking here now with that overhead spinning blade. Over and over again. The repetitive motion. And I think you can see there the panel and the track have come off the other side. Brenda have been completely pulled apart here by Soulblaze, the newcomer for this series, who are looking absolutely mighty. And look at that, there are bits and pieces all over the arena, including both sets of tracks. And Brenda, yeah, the spinner might be spinning Brenda, but it's Soulblaze doing the spin of victory, because Brenda have got absolutely no motion and they've been counted out. And oh wow, what a slam there. Wowee. The front panel going flying off, and Soulblaze is just not finished with its food here, shoving Brenda towards the pit. Oh, Soulblaze has gone in.
Cease.
And that's the end here. Brenda, the Brenda team trying to argue that Soulblaze are out with the pit, but I think it's fairly clear to say that it's Brenda who ended up counted out. Let's watch this again. Soulblaze straight in from the off. There went a panel. They got the saw blade in there. Look, there you go. The tyre, the track even, was simply cleaved away. And that meant that Soulblaze was Soulblaze had gotten Brenda down to only spinning in circles, if it actually allowed them to do that. It didn't though. Soulblaze just never let go. And then here came this slam. Bang on top. Bang on top again. We're just waiting for the moment there where the second track was peeled off of Brenda along with the side panel. And it was pretty grim for Brenda. Finished fourth last year, And they've been absolutely manhandled. Sawblaze surely looking mightily impressive. Maybe even a favourite now, as it left them, as you can see, no tyre tracks, no movement, and immobilised. Scary performance. So that is our semi-final lineups confirmed. Coming up in a little while is Bronco against Sawblaze in a clash of the Titans. But first, it's Deator who've done amazingly well to get this far against Pain and Panic, who've done even better to get here. What are they doing here?
Roboteers, stand by.
Roboteers, stand by.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So, we're off again, although it appears that once again, it's only Pain that is off and underway. Panic, not moving again. Is it a playing dead strategy? I don't know what is going on with Pain and Panic, really. But it means that Deator just has to eliminate one of these titchy little machines, because I'm having confirmed that Pain has not moved and has been counted out already. And they've slammed... Pain's been slammed into the wall here. It's Panic who's been counted out. I'm losing track of these little mini-bots. Deator, look at this. Just look at those googly eyes. They're just staring down Pain and hoping that it won't be Pain for them, but watch out for Pain and Panic at your peril is what we found so far this season. And Deator on the edge of the pit, and surely they're going to get shoved into the pit. Oh my lordy, it's the most impressive, surprising run in Robot Rumble history. Pain and Panic, who for 2 fights, one of their cluster bots has not even worked, are in the final. Oh, it would have been all over there had Pain ended up upside down. That spinner of Deator trying to do untold damage, and it tried to back Pain into the pit, and they got stuck on the lip. And then in-game little Pain, in the pit you go, said the little titchy bot, and they're in the final. Unbelievable. So Pain and Panic end up as our first finalist for the Robot Rumble 2022 Championship. An insane run, but they are through. Who will join them? Will it be Bronco or Sawblaze?
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we go. A battle of the giants here. Sawblaze, a newcomer to the series. Bronco, the 2020 champions, looking for their second ever championship title. But will Sawblaze give it to them? By heck, will they let them give it to them in this, an absolutely crazy semi-final lineup here, as Bronco is stuck in the corner. In goes Sawblaze with the slam, with the bam, with the thank you ma'am, but it's Sawblaze on its back, turned turtle and almost out of the arena there. But they've managed to escape and shove Bronco back across the arena floor using that circular saw. And let's look at that on the replay. Bronco were having difficulties in the corner, so in came Sawblaze, ripped the front panel off. And then Bronco turned and said, oh no you don't do that to me. I am the former champion. And they almost threw Sawblaze, who's the most impressive newcomer, straight out of the arena. And wouldn't that have been a crazy moment? But Sawblaze have survived and are attacking here now on Bronco, shoving them across the arena floor, getting side on, and now doing a little spin. Wow, look at that. Put that in the Olympic Games, put that on Strictly Come Dancing, and you would get 100 points. If that's how it works, I don't know. I don't watch Strictly. Now, in the corner are Sawblaze, holding Bronco there. It's a tactic they love to do. A back panel has come off there of Bronco. I think that's all the panels that have fallen off Bronco that are possible now. And they're still just slamming into Bronco here, causing damage. We know this is Sawblaze's favourite strategy. It did it all throughout its group campaign. And Bronco really struggling to get out the corner here. It's just a bit too long. It's stuck next to that screw and it just can't escape. And Sawblaze are still going here, still holding them in place, still scoring points. Remember, they have to back off every couple of seconds because they need to let Bronco get out. They have done now. And now they retreat into the middle of the arena, and this fight now just slowing the pace down a little bit, but Bronco are really having driving issues here. And Sawblaze really preying on that as this fight enters its next phase, as it were. You find when you watch Robot Rumble fights, these fights go through phases. Right now, they're just repositioning, and in comes Sawblaze with a little nibble, a little attack there. Slamming that axe with the disc down. Scoring points, but there's a big point score for Bronco. Flipping Sawblaze up, who has recovered magnificently, it must be said. It was a good attack there from Bronco. Flipped Sawblaze end over end, but then look at that, using the axe and the spinner to just recover and self-right. It was very, very nice control. Fantastic recovery from the green and black machine. But remember, it'll be Bronco scoring the points for that attack. Now in they come again. Trying to get that flipper. Can't get it underneath those forks at the front. Sawblaze underneath Bronco there. It was almost a shove towards the pit. Now, Sawblaze in behind, and that's a big slam right there. Straight onto the back. Attacking that flipper at the rear where it's most vulnerable. And again, round the side. We've seen a couple of teams do it. Oh, and something's gone flying there as Sawblaze rams Bronco into the corner as against once again slamming the blade down. Well, look what happened there on the replay. So they were dancing on the floor flipper, and then Bronco fired its own flipper and has ripped one of the forks away from Sawblaze. Not that it bothered Sawblaze, and we're down to the last 10 seconds here of the fight. It's going to go to the judges in what has been a fantastic semi-final as Sawblaze comes in and just gets those last couple of points that could be crucial in deciding who goes through to the 2022 Robot Rumble Final.
Cease.
So let's have a look at the highlights from what was an incredible fight. There's something about Bronco semi-finals in Robot Rumble which means they're not to be missed. So, early points for Sawblaze for causing that damage, but then Bronco recovered with the flip, so close to being out of the arena. Could have ended the fight there. Bronco could have been in its second ever final. But Sawblaze came back, and this bit I think will be crucial to the complexion of the judges' marking. They got Bronco stuck in this corner, and if you think every time they're bringing that disc down on top of Bronco with the arm, they're scoring points. A panel comes off from the rear there on Bronco. Never the most well-attached panel, it must be said. Need to get some sticky tape for next season, methinks. But look, they were just harrying them into the corner. You think about how long that was of the fight as well. Bronco did recover though with that fantastic flip. It will be noted by the judges how easily Sawblaze recovered. And then this one was also a fantastic slam. They got in round the back, and you know, maybe there could have been problems to the flipper mechanism there, trying to shear through it. They didn't, but of course they will be scoring points all the while for this. It's important to note. Getting underneath constantly as well. This bit, obviously, Sawblaze getting aggression and control points, but then the damage points for Bronco. But then you see Sawblaze ram them across the arena, and then with only a couple of seconds left, this is a massive attack. More points scored for Sawblaze. So it has gone to the judges, who, judging on style, control, damage and aggression, have gone for Sawblaze, as you can see. Sawblaze are in the final, which means it's Pain and Panic against Sawblaze, two newcomers contesting the Robot Rumble 2022 Championship. But before we do that, we just have enough time for a little extra fight for you. It is the traditional third place playoff. It'll see Deator take on Bronco in what should be a very nice fight, I think. A very good fight for the third place playoff this year.
It's going to be one of Deator or Bronco. Are we ready, everybody? Yep.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
It's the fight that no one ever wants to find themselves in. It's the third place playoff It's Bronco's second year in this third place playoff, and they are seething. They're not even moving to start with, and Bronco's got a good head start here, ripping the front panel off, and Bronco near the pit, but has backed away, trying to get underneath the Irish machine. Deator will be very, very happy, though, with being in the top 4 robots of Robot Rumble for 2022. It's been a steady incline for them over the years, progressing from strength to strength, as they've pulled another panel off there from Bronco. We're going to watch that one again. Deator just escaping from the flipper's wrath, and then coming in on the attack with a nice little peck, and off went the panel. That vertical spinner has been very good so far tonight. We've not seen it have the issues it had in other fights, as now they're attacking the front of Deator. Deator attacking the front of Bronco, slamming in here. In comes Deator with a side slam straight into the side there of Bronco, and the former champion is getting their wheels gnarled up by that nasty screw, which has become an invaluable hazard this year in Robot Rumble. I do think so. And a massive planner went flying there. And the judges were starting to count out Bronco there, but it's come back to life. Well, let's have a look at that again. A huge slam from Deator. Bronco on the ropes here against the screw. You just see the damage those screws are causing. And then in came Deator from behind, and whee! There went that back panel, bouncing out the arena. Both machines now coming back to fight, and oh no, Deator! They were on top. They were on top of the fight, and they've been flipped by the floor flipper. A fight where both of the new hazards have come into massive, massive clutch for Bronco in the end here. And it's a count out there, and Bronco finishes third for the second year in succession. Well, let's look at this again. Bronco across, Deator across, and then just lingered too long on the flipper. It avoided it earlier on in the fight. They did not avoid it that time. Flung over, and Bronco gets another helping hand from the floor flipper. Flippers unite! So there we go. Bronco finished third for the second year in a row. We don't know who's going to be finishing first or second, but we're going to find out very, very, very shortly. It's the final of Robot Rumble for 2022. It's Pain and Panic against Sawblaze.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Sawblaze have looked very, very impressive, but don't count your chickens, Sawblaze. That's what everyone has done against Pain and Panic, and it's come back to bite them in the arse. And already, Pain and Panic holding its own. Sawblaze ended up underneath Pain there for a second, who Panic has once again been completely useless. It's just panicking so badly, it's not even moving. So again, it's the tiny mini-bot of Pain who's gone MVP so far in this Robot Rumble final episode for this year. And they're getting underneath Sawblaze each time here. Is there another shock on the blocks here? As Sawblaze comes in with a massive slam and an attack there on Pain, trying to attack that green machine of Sawblaze, trying to get those pincers in, but right now it's Sawblaze underneath, getting that axe into attack here. It's not really a normal traditional axe. It's got that big blade on the top, and it shoved Pain into the screws, and the screws have toppled Pain over. And surely, that is all she wrote for the Robot Rumble Championship 2022. The judges are counting out Pain. They're counting out Pain and Panic, and they're counting down to make Sawblaze the champion.
Cease.
Sawblaze, your 2022 Robot Rumble champion. Let's see how they did it. So, the early attacks here. Pain getting underneath Sawblaze, and maybe we were thinking in our heads, or maybe there'll be another shock on the cards here tonight. Maybe Pain and Panic were about to get their third successive major scalp. But they were underneath. Not really the pushing power, but they are half the weight of the mighty Sawblaze. Look, once again, the Sawblaze rocking over, and you thought maybe if they could get the wheels off the ground and shove them into the pit, maybe. Or something like that. But then the fight really turned at this point. A huge slam And down came that spinning axe blade of Sawblaze. Once again, they got in underneath. Panic, completely useless. Pain, under the cosh. Receiving damage. And we thought it could only be a matter of time before that itty-bitty robot met its end. And it did here on the new hazard for Season 3, the screws. And it was beautifully done by Sawblaze, pushing Pain and Panic in there and letting the screws lift them up and over. And they didn't try and push them in the pit, trying to do anything fancy, just let the judges count them out. Sawblaze is the champion. So there we have it. That is how the final bracket for the Robot Rumble 2022 championship has ended. It ends with Sawblaze taking the win over Pain and Panic in what has been a series filled full of shocks and surprises. And these are the top three. Bronco gets its second, third place in successive seasons. Pain and Panic, a shocking second. I'm sure they'll be more than happy with that. And our new champion on the block is Sawblaze, who have defeated some amazing machines along the way. They've had one of the toughest runs in Robot Rumble history, but they have defeated all comers and have proved themselves to be the strongest of the strong for 2022. And there we have it, a brand new champion for Robot Rumble this year. Sawblaze is our 2022 champion and joins Fury, Bronco and Biteforce in the Hall of Fame. Thank you very much for watching this season of Robot Rumble. It's been so much fun making and producing this series for you. We hope to be back next year with an even bigger and better competition. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.